I'm Mr. Ray. Normally, when I start teaching a course, I get together with my class and in a classroom, which makes sense, but not exactly easy during e-learning or whatever this is. Um, Usually do some kind of introductory activity to kind of get to know each other, where I ask them questions and they get to ask me questions. I tell them a bit about myself. But since that's not easily done here, I thought I would put this little video together just to explain to you who exactly I am, so you know who you're going to be dealing with for the next 5 months. My name is Mr. Ray, as I mentioned. I've been a teacher for 20 years. I do use he, him pronouns in case anyone's interested. I've spent 18 of my last 20 years at Eastwood and 2 years before that at Blue Vale. All great times that I can remember, what I can remember of it. Before that, I student taught at KCI as well as WCI for a little bit. And before that, I was actually a student in this board. I grew up in Kitchener. Growing up, I was born in St. Mary's Hospital, lived here all my life, and I thought I'd just share this now to get over the embarrassing stuff. This is my high school graduation photo from KCI. So, any KCI people in the group? Hey, alma mater, all that stuff. Anyway, I went to KCI for a few years, and when I graduated from KCI, I went to the University of Waterloo, and that's an absolutely horrible photo of me from there. I went for math and physics electives, and I'm actually really close to finishing a degree in chemical physics. I'm 6 half credits short, and have been for the last 20 some years. And I have no intentions of going back because honestly, at this point in my life, uh, I know what I need to know in my subject area. I don't feel like I need to go too much further. When I was done at Waterloo, I went to Western, and yeah, these are still really bad photos. I don't know why I'm giving you guys so much ammunition on the first day, but anyway, here we are. I went to Teachers College there, and that's 1 year and pretty boring, and that's when I started my teaching career. Some other random things about me. I have a girlfriend. I have had a girlfriend for the last 11 years. At least I've had this girlfriend for the last 11 years. Her name is Morgan. We get along real great. And that is a picture of us just a few weeks ago in Quebec City on the ramparts looking down on the bay. And yeah, we had a great vacation over there. I'll tell you a little bit more about that with another picture later on. I don't have any kids, but I do have 2 dogs, Chewy and Sindel. Chewy is the one on the right, and here he is when he needed a haircut badly. And then Sindel, she's the suck. Incidentally, Chewy is short for Chewbacca, because I am a Star Wars fan, and Chewy is just a good generic dog name. Also, in addition to that, Sindel is actually a Star Wars reference, and only one person that I have ever met knew that when I said the name. If you can Google it and figure it out, I'll be impressed. Anyway, moving on, I do have 2 nieces, Imogen and Poppy. Imogen is the older one. She is going to grow up to be some sort of ice skater princess dancer. We're not sure exactly how that's going to work. Oh, by the way, I think these fascinator things, my mom got them as a gift, and you can see Poppy is not overly impressed by it. She's the younger one. Her career options are going to be a little bit different than Imogen's. I'm not entirely sure what she's doing in this picture right now. Is not throwing a gang sign. She's 6 years old and recently walked into the room and told her parents that right under the eye is where you get a tattoo when you murder people. They've checked her internet history. She likes to Google things like how to cheat on tests and how to break out of prison. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Again, more ammunition for you to make fun of me later, but one of my bigger things when I was in high school was I was in Army Cadets for several years, really enjoyed it. This was me in a full dress uniform for mess dinner. Yeah, horrible stuff in the background. I think my parents forgot that I was a teenager and not a 5-year-old. And there's a picture of me at Ipperwash Army Cadet Camp, which no longer exists. I was a staff sergeant there for a couple of years, and that's me working the rope bridge. Yeah, that's about it, at least in my combat uniform. I'm a huge fan of muscle cars. think I'll just point that out here. So I've had a couple, and I would like more, but I think my budget is going to tell me to stop where I am. This is a 2010 Dodge Challenger that I enjoyed driving for a few years. Unfortunately, I did trade it in for something else. This is my 2011 Chevy Camaro. It's the car that I drive. I have driven since 2011. I love this car. It's awesome, and also it's Bumblebee because I'm a Transformers fan as well. If you haven't figured out yet, I'm a super geek. Go figure that a math science teacher would be a super geek. I do want to point out something really interesting. The license plate on this car, BMBL, Bumble, was completely random given to me, and the dealer who gave it to me didn't know what the relevance of BMBL was, and I told him he shouldn't be selling yellow Camaros. Ironically enough, when I bought the car, he asked me what color I wanted, and I said yellow with black stripes. And he said, okay, what's your second choice? And I said a Mustang from a different dealer. He didn't get the joke, but anyway, had to be yellow with black stripes. This is a car I had up until just recently. I just sold it a little while ago. It's a 2015 Mustang. It was a lot of fun to drive, but I had too many cars and didn't really need all of them. In the background here, I don't have a nice picture of it, but it's a 2010 Dodge Charger in silver, and I still have that. That's my winter beater. So right now I just have that in the Camaro. This one here, I'm not sure if there's anyone in the class from Grand River Collegiate. If there is, and you happen to know who Ms. Williamson is, that is her car, her Mustang. Her and I are old friends. We kind of shared a desk back when I first started at Eastwood many, many years ago. And she was driving by, and I know she loves her Mustang, so she was driving by and noticed that I had gotten one and pulled in the driveway to stop and say hi for a while. Something else I enjoy doing, I wouldn't say my free time because I never have free time, but I do like doing home renovations. And so this a couple of years ago was my kitchen, and yeah, that's a good starting point of what my kitchen looked like. And then a couple months later, it looked a little bit more like this. It's not perfect. I still need to do some trim and put the dishwasher in, the stove and stuff, but I thought it was a pretty decent improvement. Okay, moving along. Big fan of escape rooms. This is me. I'm the third one from the left. My girlfriend Morgan's the second one from the left, along with some other people. The one on the far left is the head of math at Eastwood, and the two in the middle, Katrina and Mike, the middle and the back, I guess, are both teachers as well. And the shorter woman at the front and the guy on the right are the husband and wife of those other two. Anyway, I feel like I'm going to way too much detail here because I am. Going back to the geek theme, this was me at a toy show. I love going to toy shows and collect a fair number of toys. And I happened to run into Barry Kripke and Captain Sweatpants from the Big Bang Theory there. So we talked for a little bit. He thought it was quite interesting because he plays a physicist on a TV show that I was a physics teacher. So we talked about that for a little while. Had a nice chat. Huge music fan. I think I'm going to come back to that later. But for now, yeah, this is me. I went to see Bowling for Soup in Cleveland, Ohio a few years ago. Fantastic band, one of my favorites, and I was very happy to have met them. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, here's another band. I'm going to come back to them later. I don't really have pictures for the next part, so I'm just going to leave this up there for now because it doesn't have me in it, so that means it's better looking than most of them. Do love movies and television. I mean, kind of who doesn't? I feel like that's a given. But I'm going to share a few of the ones that I really enjoy with you, not so much because you need to know them, but because I've found in the past that, I've bonded with a lot of students just because they're like, oh, you like that show? I didn't think anyone else liked it. Anyway, same thing with bands and whatnot. So for movies, or television, I really tend to like anything that has horror in it, but lots of other stuff and all superhero stuff. So things like American Horror Story, Black Mirror, The Boys, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Last Week Tonight, Mythic Quest, Umbrella Academy, Walking Dead, Bates Motel, Breaking Bad, Community, Dexter, Game of Thrones, Good Place, Kim's Convenience, Last Man on Earth, The League, Modern Family, The Office, Parks and Rec, Schitt's Creek. That was a phenomenal show. If you haven't seen it, seriously, go watch it. It's Canadian. Shameless, Silicon Valley, Sons of Anarchy, Star Wars Clone Wars, Supernatural, Superstore, another fantastic show, Vikings, and then all the DC and Marvel stuff. And right now I'm actually really enjoying Ted Lasso, which is on Amazon Prime, I think. Not what I was expecting, but surprisingly good. For movies, again, anything horror, superhero, monster, and anything that has Ryan Reynolds in it, pretty much, actually, I will watch. I'm not going to bother listing those because literally there's way too many. For music, I thought I'd mention some of the bands that I really like. Not all of them are super well known, but as I already mentioned back here, Bowling for Soup, one of my favorite bands. Check them out. And then bands like Alkaline Trio, Avenged Sevenfold, Breaking Benjamin, Drowning Pool, Eve 6, Fall Out Boy, In This Moment, Mariana's Trench, Mayday Parade, Offspring, Refreshments, Rise Against, Slipknot, Stone Sour, which are practically the same band. They're both Corey Taylor he's the lead singer for both of them. Weezer, and a guy you've probably never heard of, Leo Maraccioli, who's a Norwegian heavy metal guy, hilarious, does some fantastic covers. Google him find him on YouTube. And despite the fact that my central interests lie in kind of the rock, metal, punk genres, there's literally no genre of music that I'm not at all interested in. I actually recently surprised my girlfriend. We were in the car and Taylor Swift 22 came on and I sang it. I know all the words, which I should not be so proud of, but I am. And anyway, this band right here is a Canadian band called the Royal North. They're from Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown. And I actually saw them in Charlottetown, PEI, just a couple of weeks ago. They were fantastic. I ended up talking to the lead singer for about 10 minutes afterwards. His wife's a teacher, too. We were talking about that and the current environment and what it's like to be there because we were debating moving. And anyway, that stuff. Video games. I'd like to say that I'm a huge video game player, but unfortunately that's a time-consuming pastime that I just don't have time for. So I will say I am at least a video game collector. If there's any console you've heard of, I probably have it, except for the newest ones. I don't have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X yet, but I do have pretty much everything from the PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch generation, back to the original Pong and Atari machines. So I think you can see a couple of them in this picture. There's like that orange thing on the right there. That's an original Pong machine. I believe it was 1977. That's a Magnavox Odyssey 2. No, that's a Magnavox Odyssey. I have the Magnavox Odyssey 2 somewhere else. I forget where I put that one. And then I've got in the other cabinet there Atari and Television, all that other cool stuff, going way back to the mid-70s video game stuff. Anyway, that was way more information than you needed, but if there's anything else you want to know about me, please just ask me. Just throw an email out or ask me when we do our personal interviews. And one thing I've always liked from students that kind of keeps me feeling a little bit younger is if you've got cool recommendations for bands and movies and television shows and stuff that you really like, I will, if it's music, I will definitely check it out. If it's a movie, I will possibly check it out. If it's a TV show, I may look into it, just because TV shows are kind of a big commitment to get into for everyone that I hear about. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and we'll catch up with you in one of the other videos for one of the other lessons. See you later.